This is a Gotcha Classic Pokemon Go auto spinner auto catcher. I paid 29 Great British pounds shipped to purchase this. With the current exchange rate, that is very close to 30 US dollars. So they shipped it, it's from CodeJunkies, they shipped it British mail, came to me, and it looks like this. Now this is the Gotcha Classic. It is not the same as the Gotcha, the original Gotcha. It is slightly bigger, it has a color screen, and it has a magnetic charger. So I'm going to pair it with my phone and take a look at it. So inside of the box, it comes in this plastic display case. On the bottom, there is a USB-A to magnetic charger. And it has a wristband with a little loop and a pokey bit that you can adjust to size and snap on. When you look at it here, it has two little charging ports that thing will snap onto. It also has a little sensor port down here. So this is normally a fitness device, and CodeJunkies has taken it and repurposed it as a Pokemon Go auto spinner auto catcher, much like the original Gotcha device. Now, the Gotcha device, I have lost two of them. This is the second one I've lost because they fall out of this wristband. And this guy here snaps into the wristband as well. Let's see if it'll turn on. I'm pushing the button. It might be that I need to plug it in with the magnetic charger to turn it on the first time, or to charge it up at all for that matter. So there is a QR code on the back to download the Gotcha Classic app. It takes you to a website. It's available on the Apple Store or on Android. And they have a web-based app. So it apparently is a web-based app. So Chrome needs permission to scan for nearby devices. So we will let Chrome scan for nearby devices. Now this device is not turned on, so I think I need to go plug it in to charge it, or at least trigger to turn on. So there is a tiny little indentation there that seems to indicate that there is an orientation that matters on this charger. And it snapped in, and it gave me a battery indicator briefly. There it goes. And it looked like the battery was fully charged there because it filled all the way up. So there, it just turned on, it says 1.0.0. And it says plug me in please. So apparently it does need to be plugged in. Alright, so it is charging. It's giving me an animated indicator every so often of charging, and now it's turned off. So there we go. It says Gotcha on it. So I think I'm powering it and using it while charging the battery. All right, well, let's see if we can hook this app up right now. So I hit connect device on the app. It found Pokemon Go Plus. Pair with that device. Okay, so it says 33% charged, version 1.00, and it has some option buttons here. So Gotcha Classic updated, Gotcha Classic updated, Gotcha Classic updated. So these are basically options you can turn on and off. It doesn't have a lot of information. So this option here looks like, does it buzz? The rest of these options are all without any text. They're just an icon. So having used gotchas before, I suspect they're things like, do I auto-spin pokestops? Do I auto-throw at unknown Pokemon? Do I auto-throw at known Pokemon? And maybe do I have a display or not? Now, it did not attempt to update a firmware or anything like that. And I'm assuming it might try to do that if it needed it, although maybe it waits for the battery to be at 100% before it does that. So the website looks very basic. I'm going to see if I can read the manual online. Now, my previous gotcha came with an Android app, and I tried pairing the previous Android app to the Gotcha Classic, and it does not appear to be working. So it does look like you have to use the web-based app. All right, the manual says you should remove it from the strap to charge it. However, I was able to successfully charge it in the strap. I'm going to just leave it in the strap all the time, but I did take it out so I could move it so I have it in the orientation I prefer. Now, if you are familiar with the original gotcha, this guy definitely feels just a little bit bigger on your wrist. And if you look at the bands here, the original gotcha band is a little thicker. This is a wider but thinner band, but the device itself you can see is significantly larger on your wrist. Now, you do get a color screen with that. So I do not have a super large wrist, and it kind of sticks past the end of my wrist. I mean, I can wear it, it's fine, but it's a little bit longer or taller than I would like. Now, let's go through the user interface because it's super simple. You push it, it says gotcha, it says, hey, I'm here. You can flip the screen, you can say, hey, do I want to auto throw Pokeballs? If there's a green check mark, it says yes. So if you want to change a setting, you go to the setting you want to change, and then, for example, here is, do I want to buzz? You press and hold, it turns green, and then you let it sit there until it turns off, and that will save your new setting. And so now, anytime you have an event, you will get the vibration notification. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't want vibration notification. Now, they have one new setting. We have the rotate screen. So if you want, you can rotate the screen where it left-handed or right-handed. Put this at the top or the bottom. They also have, you can pair and unpair. This is more of a, hey, forget the pairing type action, but it'll tell you if you're paired or not. There's also a battery indicator that tells you, you know, I have 2 dots out of maybe 4. So the battery indicator at the top is kind of nice. I don't know if this battery life is going to be as good as my other gotcha. Generally, I would just plug it in every night and never have to worry about the battery, but now I'll actually know kind of what the battery setup is. Okay, to use this guy with Pokemon Go, you go into your settings and then you go to connected devices and services, and this is a accessory device. It is basically pretending to be a Pokemon Go Plus, and not the Pokemon Go Plus Plus or the Pokeball Plus, but the original Pokemon Go Plus. So available devices, Pokemon Go Plus, not paired. We click on it, it says finding Pokemon Go Plus, push the button. So we push the button on this guy, it says gotcha, it says connecting to Pokemon Go Plus. There's a beep, it says, hey, do we pair this thing? Yes, we'll pair with it. And so it will pair to this guy, and when it's connected to it, then it will start working. So up here you have the little icon, and there's a thing here that says, hey, I have a Pokemon you can catch. So you push the button here, and that will tell it, hey, go and catch that Pokemon. So it basically, it either caught or didn't catch the Pokemon, I don't know. Then it shows you the next one. Now you can turn on auto catch. So if you go in here and you go to the auto catch, you turn this to a green check mark. I've turned on auto catch for Pokemons that I've seen before. And so now it's going to go through all of the Pokemon in the area, and it's going to auto catch them. So you can see here it's moving around, it's pointing at each Pokemon, and it's attempting to catch them. It may or may not be catching each one. It throws one red ball at each Pokemon, and so it may or may not actually catch it. You have to go and look in your Pokemon storage afterwards. Now it now says Pokestop in range, so apparently it wants to spin this Pokestop, and if you don't have auto spin turned on, it'll just sit there. You can go in here and say, hey, here is my Pokestop auto spin. I'm going to turn that on, and when that happens, then the next time it goes to a Pokestop, it'll spin it. So now it's out there, it's catching Pokemon, and after it catches this Pokemon, it goes to this Pokestop and it spins it, and you get your items. Now, normally my watch would be flashing and showing me notifications here, but I believe I have notifications turned off, but I'm also going to turn on try to catch all Pokemon, even one I haven't seen before. Some people like that off so they get a chance to catch new Pokemon. Alright, so if you're familiar with the previous gacha wristband, the classic gacha is very similar. There's the extra ability to swap the screen, reverse the top and bottom aspect of the screen, but everything else is basically the same. We have turn off the vibration alert, we have, hey, are you going to show the screen or not show the screen? We have, we're connected to the phone. This is the swapping the screen option. And then you just have the auto throw balls at new Pokemon, auto spin Pokestops. It works essentially the same as the previous gacha, which I wanted to call the classic gacha, but they call this the classic gacha, but the original gacha. Okay, my item bag is currently full. I've paired with the Pokemon Go Plus, and it's going to start catching Pokemon, and that's fine because I have plenty of Pokemon storage. But when it's done catching the Pokemon, or not catching the Pokemon as the case may be with the red X, it will try to spin the Pokestops in the gym. And I'm getting a question mark icon, and that question mark icon is their generic kind of error message of, hey, your bag was full, you can't fit any more in it. Alright, I've been using this for a couple of days. Functionality wise, it does everything that the original gacha did. Big downside I see is battery life. It's like I've been using it for about 3 hours continuous today, and the battery's down about halfway right now. I have it set so the screen isn't even on. It turns the screen off. It's not flashing the screen when it's catching things. And I've had days where this guy runs out of battery before I get home, so it's less than a day of battery life. And with my original gacha band, if I charged it every night, I'd basically never run out of charge during a single day of use. So you may need to charge this more than once per day, which is annoying for a wearable device. So if you're going on a casual hour walk or something and you want this to catch things for you, it's fine. If you're going to Disney and walking around for 8 hours, you'd better bring the charging cable and a USB power supply.